Welcome to www.happynumbers.org. Addition of integers, a review. Now again, we quickly will state the rules again. If the signs are the same, -6 plus -6, you just add the numbers and you use the common sign. If the signs are different, -2 plus 4, you ignore the signs, you take the smaller number away from the larger number, 2. 4 take away 2 is 2, and you use the sign of the larger number. In this case, the larger number is the 4. So, I have a bunch of problems up here for you. I'd like you to put your video or DVD on pause, copy down the problems, and then work them, and then turn it back on and we'll go over them. Okay, let's see. Number 1. Well, both of these signs are the same. They're negative. So all I do is combine 3 and 5. It gives me 8. And I use the common sign, which is negative. And if we look at the number line, if I have a -3 and I move in a negative direction 5 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I get -8. Let's take a look at this one. +6 plus a +4. Well, they're both positives. The signs are the same, so I combine them. 6 and 4 gives me 10. And I use the common sign, which is positive, so I don't have to write the sign. And of course, if we look at the number line, I have a +6 and I'm moving in a positive direction 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get to come to 10. Take a look at this one. +8 plus a -2. Okay, now the signs are different here. So I know the rule. If the signs are different, I ignore the signs and I take the smaller number away from the larger number. So if I take 2 away from 8, I get 6. And I use the sign of the larger number, and the sign of the larger number is 8, which is positive, so I don't have to write it. And if you look at the number line, if I'm at +8, and I move in a negative direction 2 places, 1, 2, I wind up at +6. Here's an interesting one. +7 plus a -7. Well, these numbers are opposite of each other. They're direct opposites. So anytime you have a positive number and a negative number that are exactly the same, the answer is 0. +7, and if I move a -7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I come to 0. Okay, up here, have a -3 and a +5, so the signs are different. I ignore the signs and I take the smaller number away from the larger number. If I take 3 away from 5, I have 2, and I use the sign of the larger number. The larger number here is positive because it's a 5, and so I don't even have to put anything here. Same type of an example, -4 plus +9. Signs are different, so I ignore the signs. I take the smaller number away from the larger number. If I take 4 away from 9, I have 5. And I use the sign of the larger number. 9 is the larger number and it's positive, so +5. +6 plus -13. Signs are different, so I ignore the signs. I take the smaller number away from the larger number. I'm going to take 6 away from 13. That gives me 7. And I use the sign of the larger number. Well, 13 is the larger number, and it's a negative, so it's -7. And here, -5 and a +5, these are opposites, so we know that our response is 0. Well, good. Let me put some more problems up for you so you can get fairly fluent at doing this. Let's have -3 plus -4 plus 2 plus -6. Oh, 4 different ones. And let's try this. Now just work them a pair at a time. Okay, so let's have 5 plus 7 plus negative 11. Okay, put your video or DVD on pause, work those, and then turn it back on again and we'll see how you did. Pardon me. All right, let's work them. Here, negative 3 plus negative 4. Well, the signs are the same, so I just combine the two numbers. 3 and 4 gives me 7, and I use the common sign, which is negative. So this gives me negative 7. Now, let's do this pair. 2 plus negative 6. Signs are different here. So I ignore the signs and I take the smaller number away from the larger number. So if I take 2 away from 6, I have 4. And I use the sign of the larger number, which is 6. So that gives me negative 4. So now I have a negative 7 plus a negative 4. Well, the signs are the same. So I combine the numbers. 7 and 4 is 11. And I use the common sign. They're both negatives. So that's how we work that problem. Let's just take a look at it again. Negative 3. Well, actually, let's look at it on the number line. We have a negative 3, and we're going to move in a negative direction 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives us a negative 7. Then we're going to move in a positive direction 2. 1, 2. That gives us a negative 5. And now we're going to move in a negative direction 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we wind up at negative 11. It's a good idea in working these problems until you're really fluid to use a number line. You can write yourself a number line. Let's take this one. We have a positive 5 and a positive 7. Well, a positive 5, positive and a positive, we know then we just combine the numbers, that's 12, and we use the sign, the common sign, which is positive, so it's positive 12. So now I have a positive 12 plus a negative 11. Well, the signs are different. This is negative, this is positive, so I forget the signs. I take the smaller number, 11. I take that away from 12. Well, if I take 11 away from 12, I get 1, and I use the sign of the larger number. 12 is the larger number, so it's a positive. The answer is positive 1. And let's look at that on the number line. If I'm at positive 5, and I go a positive 7 in the positive direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I wind up at 12, positive 12, and then I move in a negative direction, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I wind up with positive 1. Well, that's the review of the addition of integers. Good job. See you next time.